You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
Glad to have you here with us alongside Frank and Frankie Guida, asking for their insight on ways you can better prepare for your financial future. ABetterWayFinancial.com is where you can start the conversation about your retirement savings plan. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there or again find us at ABetterWayFinancial.com. And get to work educating yourself, because that's what the entire team at A Better Way Financial wants to do, empower you with knowledge. And when it comes to something that a lot of people have lots of questions about, understandably, Social Security, that's something, there's not even like one specific chapter in the book, Frank. It's just kind of woven throughout the notion of Social Security and how do we figure it out? Because what's interesting is even how many hundreds of ways there are to claim Social Security. I think a lot of people don't even realize that.
Social Security is very complex.
Right.
You know, they do have these different options. You could take it at the different years and stuff like that. And people look at that and say, well, that's simple. I could take it at this age for this, this amount, this age for that amount, but there's so much more to it.
And now here comes the advertisements, adding another layer of confusion. You may have seen them in magazines or online asking, do you qualify for the annual Social Security bonus of $16,728? Which, first of all, is a very specific number.
Very specific.
Yes.
Is this for real, or is this just another one of those clickbait type things? And if it is fake news, how can we learn to educate ourselves on maximizing the benefits that we are truly eligible to receive? So first of all, guys, what's up with these ads that we're seeing? Is this real?
Well, I got to tell you, Heather, I read a lot about news.
Of course.
And, from a lot of different news stations and different articles. And this particular ad keeps on coming up.
Really?
16,720.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I consider myself pretty knowledgeable about Social Security. Our team here at A Better Way Financial, we know our stuff when it comes to Social Security.
Right.
And I had never heard this. So I started looking online, and like, is there something new? Is this actually, something that just came out? And I'm looking. Well, turns out it is fake news. It's just not true.
Okay.
I mean, for years, we're helping people determine, how to take Social Security, when to take Social Security. What the Social Security Administration does is they use a specific formula. It's based on your lifetime earnings to determine your benefit. They take your 35 highest years of earnings, and that's what they use to determine your payout.
Right. Even
if you didn't work 35 years. Well, guess what? If you didn't work 35 years, let's say you only worked 30, those other 5 years, you're getting a zero averaged in, so that brings you down too, So you have to know all of that. Things like, if you take your benefits at the age of 70 instead of at the age of 62, your monthly benefit is about 76% higher. That's huge. That is huge. But you know what? That's not always the answer to take it older.
Right.
You have to, there's so many other things that you have to talk about, that you have to think about. Like, do I have a portfolio that can provide me with the income while I'm waiting?
Right.
Do I have the income while I'm waiting? Am I able to create that income? That's so important. If you're married, you want to take a look at strategically when each of you should take Social Security to make sure you're getting the very most out of that Social Security system.
Sure.
Because the government is taking the very most out of you that it can to fund it. So when it's time to fund us, let's make sure that we're getting that funding too and maximizing what we can take. That's one of the things that we do here at A Better Way.
Yeah, and you were saying about how it's 76% higher at 70. But you also got to factor in that you're not getting any pay from 62 to 70 if you consider waiting that long. So there's a lot that really goes into when should I turn it on. And when we develop the financial plan, we put a break-even year in there. So if we're saying, hey, your plan is to turn it on at 62, that's great. Let's check out what the other options are. And if we say, let's go with 65 or let's go with 67 or let's go with 70, we'll tell you exactly what that break-even year is. If that break-even year is 73, then every year that you live past 73, you're getting more money from Social Security than if you were to turn it on at 62. If the break even is 75, and then it's the same type of thing. 81, same type of thing. 78, same type of thing. But we'll let you know exactly what that year is. And then at that point, you get to make that decision. What do I want to do? Do I want to turn on 62? Do I want to wait till 65, 70, whatever it is? We'll run the options. We'll let you know what's best for your financial plan. And then at the end of the day, you get to decide, hey, I paid into Social Security my whole life. I want to turn it on or I don't. Yeah. And ultimately, it's your decision. And we'll tell you, this is how much you're able to save in Social Security by prolonging it, by waiting till age 67 or 70 or 65. We'll actually come up with a concrete number saying over your lifetime, you're projecting an extra, sometimes it's 100,000, sometimes it's 200,000, sometimes 500,000. But it really depends on the specific person's circumstances.
Right.
And we can run those numbers, see what it is, see what the break-even year is. You know, they give me a really challenging job here. They tell me, you know, that break-even's 81. And they say, well, should we wait or should we not wait? I'm like, well, can you tell me the exact day that you're going to pass away? Right. If you tell me that, I'll tell you exactly when you should turn on your Social Security.
Yeah.
So we try to help those folks. What is your life expectancy? You know, it depends. I mean, if you're Italian, you know, like a Italian woman, they're telling you they're dying at a very young age, and, you know, then they live into their mid-90s, don't they?
They tend to. They tend to be dying from like 40 to 90.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it is. And Dad has first-hand experience with his mom a little bit.
Exactly. I'm speaking from experience.
Okay.
But yeah, this is what we do. We help figure out when's the best time to turn on the Social Security. How do you get the most out of a system that, like Dad said, is trying to get the most out of you? Yep. You paid into this thing your entire life. Yep. We want to make sure that you are getting the absolute most that you can out of this system that you've been putting the most into. And this is something that we do all the time. And we just recently had a couple come in, and he was 62. She was in her mid-50s. They both were still working. They were looking to retire in the next few years here. They had an active lifestyle, and they
didn't want to do that. They did the Appalachian Mountains, didn't they?
Yeah, they said that. They did a part of the Appalachian Mountains.
Hey,
they're like, yeah, we didn't do the whole thing, because that is a bear. That is a bear. And they're like, yeah, we went for a day and hiked up and down.
Good.
I'm like, well, that's more than most people. So
if I go there and take like a 15, 20-minute walk, I could say, hey, I did the Appalachian Mountains.
You technically did some of it. So I'll give you that.
I gotta give him credit, yeah.
So, you know, their situation, he was in a situation where he had, you know, cancer. He wasn't projected. He thinks I have 10, 12 years left to live.
Okay.
And we said, okay, well, even with that in the planning, most people would say, well, if that's the case, let's take Social Security at 62, get as much out, and then you're getting the most over your lifetime.
That would be the conventional thinking.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But you know what? We're planners, you know what? And we have to think out of the box, you know, and what we said was her income in her lifetime was lower than his.
Okay.
You know?
Substantially.
Substantially. So her Social Security benefit was not going to be anywhere near his, you know? And the thing is, if he continued to wait until 70, you know, even if he died younger, and let's say he got to 70 or he passed away younger, she would then get his Social Security benefit instead of hers.
Okay.
The difference for her would be substantial.
Got it.
You know, getting his as opposed to her. I think the difference was
$45,000 compared to $25,000.
$45,000.
Really? Nearly double the amount.
Yeah.
And for her, she seemed healthy. You know, it seemed like she was going to live a long life. Yeah. And as long as she lived past 73, it made more sense for us to turn on his Social Security at 70 and her Social Security at 65 in their situation.
And, you know, the other thing is you could see the love in his eyes,
sure.
you know?
Yeah.
He said, I walked in here thinking I was going to take Social Security as soon as I could. Mm-hmm. He said, but you know what? You guys just made so much sense that for me to wait until 70, even though I have cancer, makes a world of sense because I'm going to leave my wife in a much, much better situation.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it's not about just one of you. It's really about both of you.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure that both of you are taken care of as long as either one of you is living. You both saved. You both invested. We want to make sure that nobody's running out of money in their retirement. And he felt the same way. So we said, this is what's going to be able to optimize your Social Security in your specific circumstance. Now, it's not going to be age 70 for everybody. It's going to be different for different people. Right. So If you're looking at your Social Security and you're like, well, I don't really know when I should turn this thing on, I could use a little help. Well, give us a call and we'll be able to show you. These are the different options that you have. You know, sometimes there's different options that we don't even know about. Mm-hmm. So it's good to be educated and have the knowledge to be able to decide, this is the Social Security plan that works the best for me financially. I'm able to get the income that I need out of retirement.
Yep.
And if I pass away, I'm leaving my spouse with a good income as well. So looking into not just you, but also for your family as well. So if maybe you've saved some money and you don't really know exactly how I should have that money allocated, or if you have Social Security, but you don't really know exactly how should I turn on my Social Security, what year should I turn it on, what strategies do I have available, you really need to learn a little bit more about those different types of strategies. And we're here to show you that. And all you have to do that is go to abetterwayfinancial.com and click on the Sign Up Now button, and we can show you how these strategies could work for you.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.